Warriors Unite! Back with another episode of Vega Warriors 2 in the 1% Club. Hope you guys are doing well this Sunday evening. Haven't had a chance of doing one all week. I wanted to kind of get one done. We got a few topics to cover over the next week or so. I'm going to try to keep doing some. Things get in the way, obviously. It's kind of hard to do that, but we're going to do another topic tonight. Okay, so thank you guys for the comments. Always thank you guys for the feedback and the topics. I got a bunch of new ones coming pretty soon, along with a lot of shout-outs and things like that. Let's do some shout-outs first. So let's talk about Spiritus. Thank you, my friend. Vel 2.0, thank you. Twice. Jojo Aces twice. Volk 4200 had 3 of them. Thank you, Volk. Jennings, thank you, my friend. Fabricendiaye, thank you. EA7 had 3. Thank you, EA7. Tyrone Tyrone, thank you. Hizkiyaha, thank you, my friend. Thank you. Giodude, thank you. Earnest, thank you. Jojo Aces again. Reinhardt Bieler, thank you, my friend. VF4453, thank you. Yousse 53, thank you. Knowledge Harvester, as usual, my friend. JTE Creates, as usual, thank you. Johnnie 5213, thank you. MK Hole, thank you. Colin Crawford, thank you. Oleg from Lithuania, thank you, Oleg. I appreciate that a great deal. Lewis Spiritual, thank you. Biscuit, thank you. Cameron Vaughn, thank you. And Alvin, one of our longtime subscribers. Thank you, Alvin. I appreciate that a lot. All right, so let's talk about a topic. This comes from our man, Smoking Crab, who had a good topic here that I want to kind of focus on. And we're talking about making yourself attractive. So what I mean by that is I call it social attraction. But let's talk about the idea of attraction. And let's take a step back, first of all, and look to see what we're talking about. We're talking about trying to make yourself attractive to what? Well, obviously women, and this is a lot of men who are listening to this. So women would be the number one thing you're talking about if you just looked at that alone. But I'm also talking about suggest things like success, opportunities, things like that. And those things come because you're focusing on what is really the bottom line when it comes to success in all areas of life. And that's really kind of starting with the foundation. And that goes back to the idea of self-control. Now, we all get to the points where we're tempted, and we're all at the point where we make mistakes. You know, as I always said, monk mode is always difficult for me because I've been blessed, as many of us are, with tremendous amount of, energy. And it's hard to focus on that. Now, at 63 years old, I feel like I'm 25 sometimes. It's just wonderful, all the power you have with this feeling. But with that, just like Spider-Man used to say, as Stan Lee used to say, great power comes great responsibility. Now, the bottom line is, however, you want to create opportunities. You want to create situations where you become more attractive so you attract more to you. So, whether it's women, whether it's money, whether it's jobs, whatever it might be, how do you make yourself more attractive? So let's take a step back and look at this. The first thing you got to do is realize that you cannot not communicate. Now, I've taught communication classes for over 40 years, and so I've learned this the hard way. You're always communicating something, whether you know this or not. So, and it's because almost 90% of your communication is nonverbal, which means it's not what you're saying, it's how you're acting and behaving that people read that, and they see that. And so as you communicate your ideas, people see whether or not what you're saying matches how you're behaving. And they're attracted to your behavior. Yes, it may be words that come out, but it's the way you say it, the nonverbal behavior behind it is what's making it attractive. So, when we talk about attraction, we're talking about a mindset that you first have to kind of get control of yourself. And obviously that starts with having a strong belief in your God, your creator, and then also then along with that, following a lot of God's purposes, especially given the fact that he's given you a lot of energy, he's given you all that blessings, and now you have to kind of transmute that into actual behavior that makes sense enough for you to succeed. So that means you should be focusing on your goals. You should be focusing on things like whether it's building your body, whether it's building, your intellect, your spiritual growth, all those things should come together to go ahead and say, okay, I'm using this energy in the best way possible under God's purposes. Once you have that established, now you become a person who is going to better themselves. And you become a giver. A giver means someone who's helping other people as you are achieving. So God is giving you the purpose. 99% of the purposes God gives us, in my opinion, are to help other people. We're here to help other people. Now, whether you want to believe that or not, whether some people who are narcissistic think they're only here for themselves, you really are here to help some other people. Now, in my case, I help a lot of young men out. I help a lot of people out, in relationships, things like that. I help people out. But I also help a lot of people who are at the high school level, different kind of clubs, things like that, in trying to identify how to become a leader, how to be able to have that self-control. And it comes back down to learning how to control yourself. And that obviously includes retention, which is the biggest problem most people have in trying to control themselves. They can't control their sexual behavior. And especially when they have a high level of energy, like a lot of us do, for us to transmute that into something more positive is very, very difficult, not easy to do. So as we look at this, as we're talking about being that giver, we're focusing away from ourselves. We're focusing on giving things to other people. Because of that, then, what you're doing is attracting all those things to you. Because you're a giver, people like that, okay? Because you're a giver, people want that more. And so this is not any more evident than with women, right? Men are givers. Men give to women. Men give the sperm to women when it comes to having children. Men give women that energy, right? This is why we always talk about the fact that when men have intercourse, they're falling asleep because they've given all their energy at that time to the woman who feels alive. And that's why a lot of women subconsciously, they want this. They want men to give to them because they are, on the other end of it, they're with the feminine energy. They need men to give to them, and they will give back, and it's a giving situation. When you find a person, male or female, who's a given person, that person is high demand. So when a person sees you, we talk about the aura, the retention, all of that, they're seeing a highly level giving person who is warm, friendly, and they see an aura. What they're seeing is someone who is a high level giver because they're able to hold this in, and they want to be that person that will receive the gift that you're giving. And so because of that, then they're highly attracted to you. And I believe obviously they sense when you're holding your seed. They sense it because then they want that subconsciously. Now this happens subconsciously. Very few people understand it, but they know if they're attracted to you, why they're attracted to you. They know if they want to have intercourse with you. Women know this right away. Men know this. They sense this stuff. And it's because they're having energy that they want that you have. And don't doubt this. I mean, men are givers. We are givers. We work hard. We give families. We give to build houses. We give all this, right? And of course, there's a give and take. But for the most part, men are really more happier when they're working and giving, okay? Women tend to be more happier when they're focusing on relationships and family. Men are very task-oriented. And so give me a task, complete this, build something here. The emotion part is not very, very important, right? The drama is obviously not important. So women and men balance themselves out, but the bottom line is you become highly attractive because you're a strong giving person. This is why women focus on men's careers and all these other things that are important for women to have security, protection, and have people providing. So when you turn it around, females think, well, if they got a high job, those type of things, the idea is that people don't really understand that males don't care about that from females because females look at life differently. Females should be the ones, and unfortunately with the way that society over the last 30 years have been promoting women, They're not focusing on that enough. They're focusing on careers and those type of things. But women basically are receivers. They're receiving that energy from the male. This is why you have children, right? This is what happens. You need to have that energy to have that child. So in a sense, then, what happens is that because they've messed up all the role models because of, I think, certain types of agendas have been out there over the years, what happens is that females now think that males will be attracted if they have a good paying job and a career and things like that. Males don't care about that. That's not what makes a female attractive. Females are attracted because they look good, they're able to have children, things like that. Males subconsciously feel that's very important. That's why they give. They give to build families, to build houses, build family, energy, all that kind of stuff. That is all built in. So that's why we have a struggle in the society when it comes to dating, especially with a lot of modern women. I just can't tell you the thousands of women out there who are struggling in their late 20s, especially when they hit the wall in their 30s, that they can't find someone because they've had their career, they have their goals, they're making money, they're doing things, which is wonderful. But their purpose, even in their own minds, males don't care about that. And therefore, they're not the givers as much as males are. Males are the givers. So therefore, if you're trying to give to a male is just going to give back, or else they're not going to be that male. And this is why we have a problem in the society. So that's why we run into a lot of these issues. This is why you become highly attractive. I talk about masculine men. Well, masculine men are strong. Masculine men are tough-minded, but they're also large givers. They give because it's not an emotional thing to them. They give because they know they have to give. So you become a diamond in a rough there. You become somebody, a diamond that stands out because you give. You're strong, you give to people, and you build. You build families, you build relationships, you build people, you build children. All that kind of stuff happens because you're giving to other people. And that's why the male-female dynamics has to be something that is strong enough to overcome a lot of those other things. And this is why we talk about when females have these jobs and the modern women, especially in the United States, are struggling trying to find a good man. Well, the men are there, but the trouble is the women who have those type of jobs making that kind of money, they want a male near their same age or who basically is making more money. But they don't want these women in their 30s because they're not as, they can't have children as easily. And they want, and they're set in their ways. It's hard for them to live with other people because they're living on their own. They're used to their own lifestyle. And they're not going to go ahead and kind of go with somebody and start a family. And that's a hard thing. So you're going to see a lot of women. And I think I saw the statistic somewhere by 2030 or 34, you're going to have 60% of the women out there who are homeless, not homeless, who have childless and, with no marriage or anything like that. So you have a lot of females coming along. This is another reason why males tend to go to different countries. I can't tell you the amount of females who are from China, Japan, Ukraine, Russia, Lithuania, all these places, Norway, that are looking for males. Males are looking to go to other countries because of the females are a lot more submissive. And I don't mean that as a negative term. I mean that females are knowing what the male does, appreciates that, doesn't dislike the male, and willing to let the male run the family, at least the leadership of the family. And they're going to give submission to that. It's not a cruel thing. We're not talking about any kind of stuff like that. We're talking about basically someone who is giving the headship and allowing that male to run the show because they have that leadership. They're strong, and the female can lean on that male, and that's important. So once again, the male is the stronger one, at least mentally, physically as well. And then a female will raise the families and help with all that kind of stuff and build a family structure. So it's a very easy type of thing, which we've had for a lot of years. Trouble is that the brainwashing we've had in society over the last 30 years and all those movements that broke families apart, broke religion apart, all these things got out of there, and all of a sudden now you see a dysfunctional situation out there with the males are acting more like females, and the females are acting a little more like males, and all of a sudden now you have a shifting, and it doesn't work because the male and biology, the male and the female are different. And there's no way that you're going to have males who are going to sit there and care about at all what females are making money or anything like that. They're not competing with other females. They never will be. And so on the other hand, the females, they're not going to, they understand when females can go ahead and be submissive and be feminine, which is kind of, really is not a negative term. Again, it's a matter of just allowing the male to be the male. And that's important. And so when you find females like that, well, then all of a sudden you run to that. But what's happening is that it's happening in other countries. The modern females in the United States, especially in their 20s and 30s, they don't understand that at all. A lot of them don't think that way because they haven't been taught that way. And so this is what happens as well when you don't have a lot of male role models, and a lot of children are growing up without dads. And so once again, they're leaning on the females who, as much as it's great to have a single mom, they don't really understand about how to be a male either and a man. So this is why we're struggling in this society. And so we need to go back to step one and first have self-control among ourselves with males. And then at that point in time, continue then to build families and going back to the structure that we had that worked so well and create the family. So you're not talking about 50% divorce. You're talking about people who are staying together, maybe 10% divorce, but something where people are staying together for the sake of the family and the kids and things like that. So it's a tough thing with the laws in certain states, places like that. All of a sudden, it's a lose-lose for men. So men are opting out, MGTOW movement, things like that. So we talk about being attractive. You are highly attractive because you have self-control and you're a strong giver. There are so many women who need that. However, you have to be careful. Those relationships with those type of women, they're going to end up negatively because women don't want to make that effort to go ahead and be submissive. Not when they've lived 30 years, and they're living their own lifestyle, making money, getting whatever they want to get, but they're not happy being by themselves, and they're going to be by themselves, whether it be with cats or whatever it might be. So the thing is that when you look at the situation, you realize that males, as they get older, they become highly attractive because you can earn money, your value goes up. Females, because they can't have children after a certain period of time, or it's very dangerous or hard, their values go down. And so there's this period of time between 28, 35 years old where the women hit that wall, and all of a sudden the male interest goes way down because the males want younger women who can have children and that are willing to take the leadership of that male because they look up and respect the male. Females in their late 20s and 30s don't respect males anymore because they weren't brought up that way. They're brought up in fact, men believe that males are a bad thing, and that type of thing. So they don't understand that type of thing. So Smoking Crab, you got a good comment here. I appreciate that a lot. Once again, you're making yourself attractive. Now, obviously, we talk about looks as far as how you dress, all those things. But if you retain more, you're going to have an aura around you. You can try to build yourself with dressing, build yourself up with, your body up, mind. All those things can help you. But the key to be attractive is to be that giver. Listen to people. Listen to opportunities. Watch opportunities. Grow. Continue to build yourself. But treat everybody the same way you would treat yourself. Follow the golden rule, and you'll be okay. All right. So anyway, in God's name, let's go ahead and talk about two things that are important. Thank you, Smoking Crab, again. One, every day is a new day to a great warrior. And number two, guys, as we leave this weekend, hope you guys continue to fight that devil every step of the way because we need to continue to battle on! God bless you guys. Have a great week. We'll talk soon. Take care.